Mountains do not move, they do not bend, they do not kneel. They rise, silent witnesses to empires, wars, prayers, and forgotten gods. In Japan, where mist wraps itself around ancient peaks like a veil, there's a deity older than many temples, older than some myths, a god who is both shelter and threat, both guardian and destroyer. Tonight, we climb into the clouds to meet Ōyamatsumi, the mountain that watches back. Hello, and welcome back, witches and wanderers, to the Morbid Witch Podcast. Tonight's journey takes us into the highlands of Japanese mythology, into forests so dense they swallow sound, and mountains so vast they become worlds unto themselves. We are exploring Ōyamatsumi, a powerful and ancient Shinto deity whose influence stretches across mountains, oceans, warfare, harvests, and the fragile balance between nature and civilization. Ōyamatsumi is not a god of singular domain. He is vast, multifaceted, and deeply tied to the Japanese understanding that nature is not merely scenery. It is sacred, alive, and deserving of reverence. His presence is felt in the rumble of earthquakes, the safety of a successful hunt, the calm of fertile soil, and the terror of landslides. He is not simply a god who lives on mountains. He is the mountain, and everything that flows from it. To understand Ōyamatsumi, we must first step into the spiritual framework of Shinto, Japan's indigenous belief system centered around kami, or spirits. Kami are not distant, unreachable beings residing in some separate heaven. They inhabit rivers, trees, storms, stones, and even emotions. In Shinto, divinity is not abstract. It is woven into the natural world so tightly that separating the sacred from the physical becomes nearly impossible. Mountains in particular hold immense spiritual weight in Japan. They are sources of rivers, guardians of villages, and homes to ascetics and spirits alike. Climbing a mountain was once considered a pilgrimage, an act of purification and humility. The sheer scale of these formations, rising above clouds, enduring centuries, made them natural symbols of divine power. In this environment, a god like Ōyamatsumi does not feel metaphorical. He feels inevitable. He is often described as an elder figure, an ancient presence tied to the earliest creation myths. Some traditions consider him an elder brother to Amaterasu, the sun goddess, and Susanoo, the storm god. Whether literal sibling or spiritual contemporary, this association places him among the oldest and most foundational deities in Japanese cosmology. He is not a newcomer to myth. He is part of its bedrock. Ōyamatsumi's domains may seem contradictory at first glance. Mountains, seas, and war, but within Japanese geography and spirituality, they are interconnected. Mountains feed rivers that lead to oceans. Control of land meant control of resources. Warfare often centered on terrain, elevation, and natural barriers. In this sense, Ōyamatsumi is less a god of isolated elements, and more a god of dominance over an environment. As a mountain deity, he embodies stability, endurance, and authority. Villages built near mountains would pray to him for protection against landslides, earthquakes, and avalanches. Yet that same mountain could become a threat if angered. This duality, protector and destroyer, is a recurring theme. Nature is benevolent when respected and merciless when ignored. His connection to the sea emerges through lineage and symbolism. Water originates in mountains. Snow becomes rivers, rivers become oceans. By governing the peaks, he indirectly governs the flow of life itself. This association extended into maritime safety, where fishermen and sailors would often sometimes honor mountain kami before voyages, acknowledging that all water begins somewhere higher. War enters his mythology through the idea of territorial defense and physical strength. Mountains serve as fortresses, strategic vantage points, and natural shields. A god who embodies the mountain naturally becomes linked to military power and resilience. Warriors seeking endurance or victory might invoke Ōyamatsumi, not for aggression, but for unyielding strength, the ability to stand firm like stone. Ōyamatsumi's influence is perhaps most vividly seen through his children, particularly Konohana Sakayahime, the Blossom Princess. She is the goddess of Mount Fuji and represents delicate beauty, life, and renewal, a striking contrast to her father's rugged permanence. Their relationship mirrors the seasonal cycle. The mountain remains while flowers bloom and fade. Through her, Ōyamatsumi becomes indirectly tied to fertility, agriculture, and the ephemeral nature of existence. Another tale speaks of his daughters marrying into divine lineages, weaving him into the broader tapestry of Japanese myth. These familial links ensure that Ōyamatsumi is not isolated. He is embedded in genealogies that connect sky, storm, and earth. Through marriage and offspring, his authority spreads across domains, reinforcing the idea that mountains are the foundation upon which all other landscapes rest. There are also regional myths where hunters pray to him for safe passage through forests and successful hunts. In these stories, he appears less as a distant god and more as a watchful elder spirit, observing those who tread carefully and punishing those who exploit the land. His personality shifts depending on region, stern guardian in one tale, benevolent provider in another, illustrating how folklore adapts to local needs and fears. Ōyamatsumi is not confined to ancient texts. Shrines dedicated to him still stand. Most notably, Ōyamatsumi Shrine on Omishima Island. These sacred sites are often located near mountains or coastal areas, reinforcing his dual dominion. Offerings traditionally include rice, sake, and symbolic tools of agriculture or warfare, gestures acknowledging both nourishment and protection. Pilgrimages to such shrines blur the line between spiritual and physical endurance. Climbing toward a shrine becomes an act of devotion, each step a reminder of human fragility against nature's scale. Even today, hikers and travelers may leave small tokens or prayers, not necessarily out of strict religious obligation, but from a cultural understanding that mountains deserve respect. In modern Japan, Ōyamatsumi's presence persists in festivals, folklore, and environmental reverence. He has evolved from a strictly mythological figure into a cultural symbol of ecological balance. Where ancient worship sought protection from natural disasters, contemporary reverence often centers on conservation and harmony with the environment. Mountains are archives of time. They outlast civilizations, religions, and languages. Ōyamatsumi embodies this permanence. He is less a character and more a concept. The idea that some forces cannot be negotiated with, only respected. His myths teach humility. Humans build, conquer, and forget. Mountains remain. His connection to war underscores another truth. Terrain shapes destiny. Kingdoms fall because of geography, as often as politics. By personifying the mountain, ancient storytellers acknowledge that victory and defeat often hinge on forces beyond human control. Ōyamatsumi is not a god who demands constant attention. He does not shout from the heavens or descend in blazing light. He simply stands, immovable, watching generations pass like clouds across a peak. His myths remind us that nature is neither enemy nor ally by default. It is a presence that responds to how we treat it. Thank you for listening to the Morbid Witch Podcast. If you ever find yourself gazing at a mountain, whether crowned in snow or wrapped in mist, remember that in many cultures, some heights are not just rock and soil. They are guardians, witnesses, and sometimes gods. Follow the podcast on Spotify, YouTube, and iHeartRadio. Share these stories with fellow night travelers, and return next time as we step into another legend carved into the bones of the world. Stay strange, stay spooky, and remember, the shadows are always watching.